heroScapers. Hello, friends, and welcome to Joe Crazy 3193, where we're a little bit crazier, 10 things crazier. This is Big Bullfrog, aka Pearson, and joining me here today, not for the first time on this channel, I believe, is Joe Crazy 3193.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you here. I've been a big fan of yours. It's great to get you on this channel and see a game with you.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah, I'm so glad to be here. You want to introduce yourself?
Oh yeah. So I'm Big Bullfrog. Um, as I'm sure everybody knows, from earlier games on this same channel, probably maybe. Um, no, actually, so I'm standing in here today. I get to be a substitute.
Yes, you do. Welcome everybody. ScapeCon 2 footage. Bigger Bill. Oh my God, Bigger Bullfrog, aka Taylor, is here, or has everybody will recognize that voice from 10 Points Under. His YouTube channel where he looks over and strategizes online content, heroScape online content to be in particular. We are finally, Taylor, we've been talking about it for a long time. We're looking at real footage here.
Yeah, like the figures look plasticky. It's like the camera's moving around. This is strange territory.
Yeah, right? We're finally at it. We are watching. This is a game event called The Good Old Days. Did not really have any particular type of requirements, other specific point value. I think it was classic only, so there's no VC units here. But I am playing as a bunch of Maro as usual, and I'm playing against Ari, and he has got some stingers, and I didn't catch everything else he had. So
Looked like a bunch of
once,
stingers in a Hydra, I believe.
what was that?
I think it was a bunch of stingers in the Hydra.
Oh, does he have? Oh yeah,
I
yeah, I
think which
see it.
stingers are just Hydra. Like it's the same.
Yeah, I think it's stingers and Hydra, and so I guess we can start there. Army compositions are not my strong suit. At least at this point in the game.
Yeah, and like so I've been watching, and I'm sure everybody else watching this has been watching your other series on this as well, which is a very fun series to see you going through ScapeCon and like the things that you've picked up. I think that's been a common thread that you've mentioned is like army composition was something that you learned about where I think you're doing what people who like people who are like, hey, I'm gonna go to my first tournament doing it, like I'm gonna take a little bit of everything that I like. And then you get somebody who brings like, I'll just bring a butt ton of stingers. And
Right.
it's like, well, that's boring, but also it's very effective.
Yeah. It's your order marker management. I think that's been the best thing. Can your army composition work with your order marker management? How well can you manage it? Obviously, putting all your order markers on stingers and occasionally that hydrid is a lot easier to manage, and then you can focus on where your characters are going, how you're getting height advantage, the range, depicting on predicting what your enemy is doing. But if you have a lot of different things, like I do on my army, I have hounds and Negok Saw and stingers, and Miburksa, and it's like, well, okay, well, who's going first and who's going second and who's on third, and so there's a lot more to manage there. And now I got too much to figure out, and now I'm too focused on what my army is doing and not focused enough on what my opponent is doing.
Right, exactly. Where you're having to juggle stuff or sequence it out. Which I mean, I do think that having multiple moving parts in an army is a lot of fun.
Mm.
Um, in fact, I think that's probably one of my more preferred ways to play the game, because like just having a bunch of stingers and you always know where all the order markers are. That's kind of boring. Yeah, it's effective, it's fine, it's boring, and I guess like some people like to play that way. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. In my opinion, I like to have more moving parts, or for my gameplay experience, I guess I like to have more moving parts and like be trying to predict stuff. Um, but there is that disadvantage. You need to be able to like line climb that disparity,
Hmm.
which perhaps Joe Crazy does in this game. Let's find out.
Yeah, I doubt that. Because, like, look
Hey,
at
you
that.
know,
Like, I could have chose to put the X on the stingers or an order marker on the stingers, which I should have done. Because now he knows that I'm not going to be activating them at all this round. And so I'm not even going to keep him guessing.
right. Well, and I mean, like putting an X on the stingers would probably be fine. I do think like I don't hate opening with the into this. Where he's got a lot of squads. Hounds can, depending on how your D20 goes, can be pretty good at going against squads. The problem is they're ranged squads, and so
Yeah.
he can spread them. But like if you were able to kill these front stingers and then get behind them to kind of like trap into the start zone, get some plagues going, it's a bit of a dream, honestly. But I mean, it is. And sometimes you
No,
got to go.
no, exactly. And, you know, I will defend myself here with this because this was the first event after the multiplayer madness, which we have not seen in this playlist yet. That's coming down the line. It's a lot harder to organize because I want to have all of the people, all 3 or 4 people that were sitting at the table here on the show. That's going to be a harder task than anything else here. But this was the first 1v1 event. I don't remember exactly. This was game match 2. So this is going to be the earliest of me really doing a bang up job.
Like, oh, this is how people would play in the game here, huh?
Yeah, no, exactly. And so, yeah, should have I put all my order markers on the hounds? Yes. First round? Yes. That is the correct move. As the comments section is screaming at me.
What are you doing? No, that's okay. And I mean, like, a lot of the time, this kind of like trial by fire learning style is a great way to learn a lot.
Yeah. Paralyzing stare.
Yeah, you can stinger drain that guy anytime. Rebirth sucks.
If this was Warhammer, I probably could have switched out his rifle for the stinger weapon.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting? And then
That's
I
one of
could
the-
stinger drain as me Bergson.
I've seen some people be like, I don't know, say that they would like for heroScape to have that option, or to like, or have made like variant formats where they can switch out weapons and stuff. I'm like, that's really cool, but also for me, that's like another moving part. And I'm like, I need it. I guess okay. The guy who just said I like to have various order markers going on earlier is now saying like, oh, customize figures. Anyway, like that's a whole lot of thing,
Yeah.
but it would be interesting. To have, like,
Oh no, for sure. I mean, I think.
shit, that works with Morrow so well too.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Majority of factions. I mean, obviously, like Knights of Weston, unless we have other like, oh, he can take an axe instead of a sword, or he can take a crossbow. Crossbow knights would be awesome, by the way. Hey, VC, do that. Please do that.
It'd be pretty sick.
Ranged knights, let's go.
I think there's a figure concern there, unfortunately, but like, I mean, if they could get that figured out, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So, question for you: when you're putting this army together, you said you like Morrow. I know you're a big Morrow fan. You said on earlier videos you just wanted to take like all. Um, was there like when you're choosing which specific figures to put into the army, are you just being like, okay, I want to get like this one and this one and this one and this one, or are you being like, okay, I've got hounds to be fast, I've got my ranged component, I've got like gawk size, like so that I can mind shackle guys and just have that brag story. What was your kind of thought process there?
Sure. No, absolutely. That's actually a really good question. And it's a process I don't talk about too much. I'm curious to see. Give me 1 second. Oh my god. I actually have my notes somewhere over here
Oh, up.
because I I had extensive play tests and army builds where I would literally I would take all the different. All I wanted to do was bring a box of Morrow because I was traveling on a plane to get to Indiana, and I knew I was going to be playing multiple games, and if I had to take hundreds of characters and cards, like there's no way I'm taking a small enough box for Indiana.
Right.
Unless I was paying for another extra suitcase, which I wasn't going to do at that time. And so I did. I was figuring, okay, so this is the point value. I was like, okay, how much Morrow can I take with what I own? Because I know the best way to play the Morrow is in numbers. So I wanted to figure out what was the best compositions, and I didn't want to take like the same amount of same armies to every single thing. So I didn't want to mix it up. Because sure, like the most of the Morrows I have at this time were drones. I have 3 squads of drones. That is the most Morrow I have. But I didn't want to take 150 points worth of Morrow drones to every event. And so with this one, I was like, okay, I think it was like 400 something. That's why I wanted to find my notepad because it had the event army value. And so I was like, okay, let's figure out. I knew I wanted to bring stingers. I only have 2 squads because of this one with the Morrow Master set. Berksaw is cheap. He's a great one. I had a squad of hounds that I was like awesome because I wasn't going to take drudges. There's no reason to ever take drudges. Honestly, they are my bottom tier list of Morrow. But yes,
drudge want to flex on people.
They can. And especially too if once you bring Ritakshi into play, she definitely helps out a bit. Not as much as I thought she would, but she does. She does. But yeah, so I had this entire list, and I was also looking at Mike or OEAO's ranking system too to see what because some of the events did use his power ranking. And so I kind of I took my entire list of Morrow and put in all of the letter grades. And so then I can figure out, okay, what is the best of the Morrow can I bring? But like I was saying, though, it's tough because I only have a certain amount of squads of each unit. And so, obviously, each event would be like, oh, this would be the Hounds team, and this is the Stingers team, and this is the Drones team, and this is the Dividers team. If I had Dividers at the time, I would have had them. I have them now, but I would have bought them. But so, yeah, I had all these different combinations, and I was just trying to figure out, with what I had, what was the best I could bring that was just Morrow, that would fit the limit, which I think is impressive enough to figure out that all 24 of my games that I played at ScapeCon were 100% purebred Morrow.
That is pretty awesome.
That's not even. I'm not talking about like 5 points under or 5 points. Like it would have been, like, you know what I'm saying, or 10 points under. Like literally, literally exact number full Morrow.
That's awesome. That's very impressive.
So, long story short, I did not just throw things together willy-nilly.
So you were thinking about like, okay, so we're going to focus on this team, and then you've got like figures to complement them. Like really, I do kind of like this army that you've got here. Granted, I mean, like it's harder to play. I think Nigaksa's Nigaksa and Mikasa are potential to like they've got.
Yeah, he's definitely going to probably be sent in last as my tank.
Nigaksa is nice for end game, especially if it's end game versus a unique. Like for example, if you kill all the stingers and then you go against the Hydra, and you just get 20 mics and boom, you win.
Yeah. Yeah, and even then, it's like I kind of knew that he has to fight the Hydra. That is the only reason. That's the only way I'm winning this is if he fights the Hydra. and I can get a couple mind shackles in to finally grab it. Because I knew going in that all of the heroScape games at ScapeCon were playing by points, the partial scoring. And so I knew it was a game of time more than a game of last man standing. Because a lot of the games, I think if we played them out, I could have won. Just because, Morrow, I had the numbers. But because a lot of those units are cheap, and because I could take a lot, by the chance that you take enough out, there's no way I'm winning based on points.
Yeah, that does get tough there.
And so if anything, yeah.
Too, like the stingers. I like that you're saving the stingers for later in the game right now, because like if you're able to go with your 2 squads of stingers against a couple of their squads of stingers, or maybe even less if you, again, depending on how hot the hounds are.
Yeah.
But like that can turn into a very game for you.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, but he has way more stingers to me right now. I mean, literally, the first wave of stingers, I'm still fighting. This is wave 3. I think this is round 3 or something. And I'm still dealing with the same amount of stingers I was at round 1.
Right, yeah. Well, he's done a good job of like he had some early guys out to string you out a little bit, by stringing himself out, but like that's been his advantage, playing into it pretty well here.
But, I didn't realize I do have Valda, which helps.
Yeah,
I was like wondering, wait, why is the Stinger moving so much?
Yeah, honestly, I thought that for a second too. I'm like, Joe, no, not on live TV.
I think I've gotten through my rules phase, okay? I think anyone that watches Schweppes or Utz Cup, we've been through that already.
Oh, good. All right, and that's good. You're able to take out that one stinger that he had in a very strong spot there.
Yeah, so I do have map control, but sadly, I feel like most of these games isn't about map control. Like I said, it's about time. If you can last till the timer, you're gonna win.
How many How many of your games went to time?
That's also a really good question. I want to say at least 5.
At least 5?
At least 5? Or is it at least 3? I want to say at least... It's more than 1. Let's go with that. It's more than 1, no more than 4. I have to double check on that. Any lore masters out there that have been following the series can probably figure that one out. But I remembering shaking a lot of hands afterwards of me saying good game, and I still had characters on the board, and so did they.
That's unfortunate for New Berk's out there.
Oh, so you get him now. Ooh.
Yeah, that's it. Like, no, I like your board control. Well, the board control that you had. That is the problem, though. Again, just like kind of looking at your army composition, you had hounds in a good spot, but then once you lose the front ones, it's tough to reinforce well. Fortunately, you're going into stingers at a good time. You're able to get that really strong center hex with one of them.
Yeah. Oh, I'm stinger draining.
Oh man! Don't do it.
Okay, so it didn't do anything. Good. I got him anyway. Good. Okay.
In fact, I was just watching one of your other games where you were saying, like, I guess now you never stinger drain, right?
No, yeah, I don't stinger drain. I'm highly against it. I mean, obviously, I've talked to a lot of people about that. It's more of, can you get all three of them to shoot? All three of them to shoot. Um, and and are you desperate? Is when you
Yeah.
do it.
Like, are you behind and you have all three of them on high priority? Like if it was, let's say you had a full life Hydra coming at you and you
Mm-hmm.
had like maybe like low ground, you can get high ground on it. Maybe at that point you can Stinger Drain, especially if it's like, oh well, I'm gonna lose anyway if it comes at me with all four heads. But I mean, there've been like at some of our local tournaments. In fact, I remember one game where I was playing like slow Romans and rocks together against a
Mm.
bunch of, and he was Stinger draining like crazy, and he was killing a lot of guys, but I wasn't killing notably more than he normally would have because I mean, like I was running a slow army, and so you had height anyway. Um, and the few turns where he like lost a figure and wasn't able to attack, I was like, okay, cool, sweet. I get to build up more. That's a free turn for me. Um, yeah, it's not a great long term strategy.
Mm. So how often do you get to play some HeroScape?
It depends. I'm so we have monthly events here in Utah. I don't make it out to all of those because I live quite a ways away from
Mm.
the city to do those. Um, but like sometimes I'm able to make it out to that. Sometimes it's been a while, actually a long while since I played in an online tournament, but I used to do those more often. Nowadays, what I usually do is I'm just kind of like doing solo games when I'm testing out, like currently, like if I'm testing out maps.
Okay.
Um, I'll be playing solo games. My brother just moved it back into so might be able to play with him a bit more often. But
Awesome.
yeah, I mean, I guess the correct answer is not enough. I
Okay.
just don't get it.
That's fair. Now, with all the reporting that you do on online games, do you join any of their tournaments as well?
It's been a hot minute since I have. Um, Especially recently. I don't know. I really enjoy casting games
Okay.
and playing the games, at least online. Is just a ton for me. Um, like I mean, it's only like one game a week ish, but those games tend to go very long, and I'm just like I've got other things that I do
Sure.
for a couple hours in the evening. Um, So it just hasn't been as high a priority for me. Depending on how things go this summer, I might. Because the other thing is like I'm a teacher, so like during the school year, like I'm a very introverted teacher. So I enjoy interacting with people, but it drains me. It stinger drains me, and so at the in the evening, I'm less likely to want to take additional time
Mm.
and have other interactions that are, fun, but they're just not interesting in me. Um, so that's just kind of been my
Mm.
that said, Sir HeroScape's Circle League that he's been doing, those are like right up my alley where like, that can be all in one day. I can set aside one day for that and have time afterwards. It's not going to be on a work day. So those are things that I've been really excited.
No, yeah, for sure. No, those have been great. I played in the first one he did. I don't think I'm gonna make the second one. I think I'll be working that day. But yeah, no, I think that's a really good encouragement for people, or at least new people, to play HeroScape online,
Hmm.
to get people
Yeah, and
introduced into it.
yeah, it's more fast, it's more fun. I think it, like you said, I think it's a great way to introduce people to online games because I think one of the weaknesses of having like, one game a week, it's nice because it gives you a lot of flexibility with scheduling. It gives you time to focus on that game. The games don't go to time, which can be a pro or a con. Like sometimes I'm like, I would rather this game just end instead of drag it out to the end. You know, whatever. But I think for new players, or at least like talking with some players that have been newer and who have tried out playing, um, it's so much focus on one game that, and also the bar to entry, or at least like the players in online are so good. Like
Mm.
there's such strong competition there that it can be kind of discouraging when you've got one game a week, and that one game that you played that week, you lose. And so if you've got like faster rounds going on, I think it's again easier entry because you're like, oh, okay, I lost this one, I got another one coming up. I can refresh. And if you lose a couple in a row or something like that, I can still lose. But I think it's easier because there's less focus on each individual that you do.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Um, but yeah, just to head back to the match at hand, because I feel like the second wave of development has finished, and
Yeah.
and so I do have center board, and I've been taking out a bit of his stingers. Yeah, we've
Let's see.
got 6 left. I might have 3 left.
The three, and you've got Nigaksa as well. So he's got 2 squads of Stingers and a Hydra, or 2 Hydras, basically. Um, Man, Stingers and Hydra, that's like such a again, like I'm sure it's a fun army to play. I'm sure it's a great army. It's a
Oh
very
yeah,
solid army. But I'm like, man, Stingers are like a very boring card. Hydras, very...
stingers are mean. Stingers are straight up mean. Yeah.
Also, I mean, to with this kind of, I've got a chip on my shoulder about Stingers. Here in Utah, they, I guess not anymore, but they were for a long time like very
Hmm.
legit, and half the people had questioned like, yes. But
Taylor, a lot of that was just cut off for a second there. Can you just repeat that? It was hard to hear you.
yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, Stingers here in Utah were for a long time a very popular unit where we had tournaments were legitimately, I believe, more than people have brought a Stinger-focused army.
Hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm sick of these guys. So that's also why I rag on Stingers. But
Oh yeah, no, that's totally fair.
okay, so we've got Nigaksa coming into the mix.
Yeah. Yeah, I sprinted in.
Looks like that attack failed, unfortunately. Let's see. I believe this Stinger on the left center high spot, that's yours, correct?
Yeah, my stinger's in the middle, and then the one adjacent to Nigok Saw is his, and so is the one on the furthest right pillar.
They're just surrounding your. Is that your last Stinger? Or I think you've got one
I
further
think
back
there might
still.
be one still in the back, so this could be the last 2. Yeah, there it goes.
All right, there goes down one. This is a rough spot for Nigaksa.
Yeah, it's a real rough spot.
Yeah, I mean, like, Nigaksa can be a champ. Like, he can. Sorry, a warlord.
4 wounds! Did you hear that? Yeah, that's why this game is so short. I whiffed all of my rolls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He must have stinger drained. No. No, he didn't have to. Yeah, he must have rolled a 4 on either of the stone, the stingers that are on the stone.
I grabbed the text coming in. Yeah, that's. I mean, that's a way for the game to go.
Yeah.
There you go. And you're still putting up a fight.
Yeah, that's the best place to be.
Mm-hmm. And once he's got both of those spots, it's tough for you to contest that.
Yeah. No, this is a really good map.
Oh, it is.
I really like this map. I like how the shadow is utilized.
Mm-hmm. The shadow's done well. It's honestly kind of rare that I like a map that has, like a full set of
Mm-hmm.
effects. start zone that you can develop onto. Granted, it's not as easy to develop onto it because of the battlements, um, which is part of what makes the map really good. It's very well designed.
Yeah, there's this is the end.
You got your last stinger. He's got it. No, viewer, don't look at the timestamp. Don't worry about it.
He's gonna activate minigun mode and just start mowing them down.
Big, yeah.
Oh
Little
my
do you
God.
know, you brought the minigun attachment.
Yeah, exactly, right? If only this was more like Warhammer. What are we doing?
Yeah, what is it?
We could have all different versions of stingers. Can you imagine a stinger drain, but it had like a double attack? Oh my God. Just
Double attack.
like for example, like if you had a stinger, right? What if it was like a hero that had a minigun that had like a stinger drain looking swampy gun, and it had its own version of stinger drain, but it didn't give you an extra attack die. It gave you an extra attack, so it could still wound itself by stinger draining, and then if you obviously there was the part where it like doesn't do nothing, it just gets you one attack, because as if it was like a jam in the gun. Or it gave you an extra attack. So it gave you like a double attack or triple attack or something.
Well, Mr. Crazy, do I have news for you? Have you seen the C3V's Havoc Eradicators?
Yes, I'm familiar with the Havoc Eradicators,
Okay.
yes.
So yeah, I mean it's basically that.
It's basically that, yeah.
Like hero form for that. So.
But at least with those though, you have to do it. You don't get a choice.
Well, if you attack at range, if you're just melee,
Right, in melee, yeah.
Just melee. Don't be a wimp. Don't attack from range. Actually, I think those are a very fun squad. Like if you're listening and you're not as familiar with VC stuff, or you're like, I don't know, some people are hesitant about it, which is totally fair, I think. But if you're looking for a place to start, I think Havoc Eradicators are go-to squads for just something that's fun. It's like, hey, what if we made the Morrow tiers interesting?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a hero version of that would also be awesome. Back in the day, those sculpts were still being produced. You'd probably too. Now those sculpts are like super expensive, but
yeah. But I haven't checked on the website, but Trexie 3D has been doing a lot of 3D prints for VC units. So that will be in the description below, and you guys can go check out Trexie 3D and go support a heroScaper that prints 3D figures. Does great work. I ordered green scales from him not too long ago, and my buddy Glenn painted them, and they look great. So
it's pretty high quality stuff too, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's
I know like sometimes with 3D printing, and 3D printing has like come across in like leaps and bounds over the past like 2 years even. But like some of the early stuff was like you lost some of the detail. But from what I've seen from Trex.
Yeah, no, so if you're not familiar with Trexie 3D, go check the website out. It is in the description below. Honestly, you go on there and you think you're stealing from them because of the prices being so cheap. Obviously, these things are unpainted. I know it's a big topic, but there are plenty of talented artists within this community that you can go look out and see if hey, I'll buy these prints. Can I ship them to you? And then you can ship them back to me. You know, that could be a viable situation for you. And there you go. Then you can get your painted figures. And at that point, you know, you probably cost in, you know, probably a little under of heroScape. What's the website? The overpriced one. All Things heroScape. Yeah, you're probably breaching right underneath that price point at that point. So, Taylor, thank you so much. You've been fantastic as always. It is a pleasure to talk to you again. And thank you to everyone else watching the videos. I really appreciate that. I hope you guys are enjoying the ScapeCon videos. Make sure you hit that notification bell when you subscribe. It supports me as a creator. Go check out 10 Points Under and go subscribe to him. Support the heroScapers. Let's bring heroScape back in the best way possible through the content creators. So thank you again for watching. This has been the longest outro I think I've ever done. Don't forget, I am not crazy. I'm Joe Crazy.